And then there's the jobs tax. In the budget of last year, Chrystia Freeland announced a capital gains tax hike. Now 66% of investment gains will be taxed under the Carney, Trudeau, Freeland Liberals. This is a tax on home builders when we have a housing shortage, a tax on doctors when we have a doctor shortage. It is a tax on small business when we have an economic crisis. It's a tax on farmers when we have a food price crisis. And it will send billions of dollars away. According to C.D. Howe, this tax will cost 400,000 jobs. How many of those jobs are represented here? Which one of these workers is going to lose their jobs because of this tax increase? How are they going to pay their bills when this Liberal tax increase is fully implemented? Well, the good news is common sense conservatives are announcing today that under a Pierre Poilievre-led government, I will axe the Liberal jobs tax and reverse the capital gains hike that Chrystia Freeland announced last spring. We will bring down taxes. In fact, I will bring in, it's going to be called the Bring It Home tax cut. It will reduce taxes on work, investment, making stuff, building homes, and energy so that we can bring home more powerful paychecks and production to Canada. And now more than ever, we need it. President Trump has said he wants to tariff our country. We cannot afford economically destructive Liberal taxes that will drive even more business and jobs out of our country. We need to stand strong. My message to President Trump is this: Canada will never be the 51st state, and not only that, the free ride is over. The era of Liberal tax increases and anti-development policies that have driven $500 billion of our money south of the border is over. I will be cutting taxes, removing red tape, and unleashing free enterprise to bring home hundreds of billions of dollars of production and paychecks to this country. We will be a fierce free enterprise economy that delivers powerful paychecks to our people, that will allow anyone from anywhere to achieve anything, that guarantees that hard work gets you a powerful paycheck that buys affordable food and homes in safe neighborhoods. That is how we bring it home for Canada. That is how we put Canada first. Canada first, Canada last, Canada always. Let's bring it home.
Stop it right there. What I'd have to say is that he's making a lot of good points here. The Canadian economy and the GDP per capita of the country as a whole is lower than the lowest US state. And that's like, I think, somewhere in like Alabama or some of those very, very not well off states in the United States. Canada as a whole is lower than that. So if we were even a part of the American, the states there, we would be the 51st poorest state in America. And why is that? It's because investment has been leaving this country at rates never seen before. It's because the government of Justin Trudeau has been taking regulatory policies that have drove businesses away, drove capital investment away, drove even Canadians who are living here and their investments in stocks and whatnot away from this country. I can say for myself, I can say for everyone I know who invests. They invest a lot of their money in the United States. They convert their money to American cash and invest in American businesses. Why? Because the Canadian market is not as lucrative anymore. You can't make as good gains as you could in the American markets, the United States. And on top of that, the dollar, the economy itself, which is our dollar to the US dollar, the US dollar is worth much more than the Canadian dollar, and it's worth at unbelievable levels. I think go over here and see 70 cents, 69 cents USD is equal to $1 Canadian, which makes the American dollar worth more than the Canadian dollar. And that is not good, because if you look at the chart here, okay, we had a big dip here. I don't know what that was all about, but Let's go to 5 years. We used to be at par with the US dollar. Around even the time of the financial crisis, we did have a dip. We dipped to around 82 USD to a Canadian dollar. But after that, under Stephen Harper's government, up until around 2013, you can say, mid 2013, we were on par, or we reached on par with the US dollar. We were actually at one point worth more than the US dollar. 1.03 USD to $1 Canadian. That's how much we were in such a good economic state at that time. But now, I think during the final years of Harper, there was an oil crash, and that really depreciated the dollar. And then we came to these levels. Around the time Harper left, it was 90 cents USD. Let's say around, I think it's around here he left. No, sorry, it's around here. Okay. So we were 76 cents USD to a Canadian dollar. And as we went on, as you can see, through the Trudeau days, we haven't really recovered, and COVID took us down to 70 cents USD to a Canadian dollar. We had a bit of a rebound. We came up to 83, but that was just that post-pandemic boom. And ever since then, you can see we've been just depreciating and falling and falling and falling and falling and falling consistently. The US market has outpaced us. This big dip here, I don't know what happened on that day, but it was a one-day dip. But we have held steady at 70 cents USD to a Canadian dollar. That's not good. That's not good at all. We have not had any increases since 2021. We have been down 13% in the last 4 years. And time is flying by, and our economy has not been getting stronger. Back here, Pierre is proposing that we cut the capital gains tax, which he calls the jobs tax, which is very, very crucial that we cut that tax, because if you want to attract high-tier, top talent to this country, you need to have a lucrative tax system for them to come here. Even the talent that we have here right now, our top of the crop talent in Canada, they go to the United States. They work in the United States. I can say that for sure for the finance industries, the doctors, the medical industry, and engineering and computer science. The top of the crop, they all go to the USA because they know they make more there, simply. And also, after they make their money, they don't pay as much tax on it. Our tax system here is a major burden on the Canadian worker, from the high-skilled worker down to the low-skilled worker. The low-skilled worker doesn't have the benefit of leaving this country and going to the United States. They can't afford it. They can't find a way to get there with their, with their income levels, and they're getting punished the most. The high-income, high-skilled guys, they can still work in Canada. They'll be making less, but they can still work here and somewhat live comfortably, though it's getting harder day by day, especially in the last 5 to 9 years. Trudeau has made it significantly harder for higher income workers, and that's why they're leaving this country. But the low income, low skilled workers, they have it the worst. And those are the workers that we have to make it better for, that we have to ensure that their money is going actually into their pockets. The capital gains tax, the income tax, the GST, HST tax, there's the carbon tax now, there's your property tax. All of these taxes, man, too much going on. I mean, even if you're just an average household in Canada with a $90,000 to $110,000 income, let's say if you're an average well-off household, you're still getting taxed 40+%, almost 40, maybe even 50%. And with the expenses and then insurance and then education costs, saving up for your child's university or college education, barely no money is left at the end of the day for savings or investment. And what is invested then gets taxed as well, with this new inclusion of the capital gains tax, raising it to 67% from its previous 50%. This and will not only affect more well-off Canadians too, in terms of directly being taxed towards their incomes and their profits they make in investments or capital gains. This will affect the businesses that also make money through capital gains. And they're going to leave the country as well. They're going to go to America. They're going to go to the United States. They're going to get their, set up their businesses there where there's not such a oppressive capital gains tax there. And also on top of that, I wanted to make another point, is that the Liberals, Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland, Justin Trudeau, of course, and the whole Liberal cabinet, they are manipulators. They do this every election cycle. Carney and Chrystia Freeland, they're coming out with their, so-called policies, and they're saying now that we are going to cut the consumer carbon tax. How can we trust these people when they're the ones who brought it into the market? They brought the consumer carbon tax and imposed it on the Canadian people. And it was essentially Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney's brainchild, along with Justin Trudeau heading it all off. But more so than Chrystia Freeland, it was Mark Carney's brainchild. He has been the biggest carbon tax supporter for the past decade, even before there was a tax. He thinks it should have been higher. He thinks it should have been implemented on a global scale. He's leading off a lot of these green initiatives you see these companies taking, or were taking, before they realized it was a big scam. It was initiated by Carney. He made the investment pact that was consisting of major investment firms across the world, including BlackRock and Brookfield, which saw them commit to making more green investments. If that was back in 2021 or 2, and now if you look at that deal, many have realized that this whole green investment schemes and ESG ratings and all of that, more so ESG investing, has been a very big scam. It's not backed up by any fundamentals. It's a lot of virtue signaling. And that was led off by one of the industry leaders of the green investing era, which was Carney. You think he's going to abandon those ideologies now? No, he's going to carry them on. He's going to make them even more costly for Canadians. And why I know that he's going to do that is because Mark Carney thinks he is an elite. He thinks he is a finance genius. He thinks he knows all and is better than everyone because he's worked in major banks across the world and major economic forums. So when he gets into power, let's say for the scenario, and the Canadian people don't like one of his policies, he's going to just push ahead with it because he thinks he knows better than the masses. He thinks he knows better than the sentiments of Canadians. Speaking for thou, that's what he is. Not speaking only, but taking the actions for thou. Just like Justin Trudeau did, it's just going to be the same thing again. No policy change. The same kind of turmoil you're seeing now where they're debating, should we increase costs? Should we increase the deficit? Should we, increase taxes or not? This is what you're going to see with any future Liberal government. Anybody from their cabinet, their party, their seats, whoever is in that party right now, you will see the same. This is why you need a new government, new mandate, hopefully from the Conservative Party, that will balance out the Canadian political scene. We have seen what the Liberals can do for the last 9 years, and it hasn't been that robust. It's time for a change. It's time for a new government to come in. It's time that we give the more center of Canadian populace and politics a chance to steer us back in the right direction. And hopefully wipe clear the Liberal Party's current MPs so that maybe even in the future the Liberal Party can redeem itself and swerve back from the far left and come back to the moderate center, which it has always historically been known to be of. And That's how they used to win elections, not like how they are now. They're like the NDP now. Jagmeet Singh, he's got no purpose anymore. His party is done because the Liberals have taken over from them. The Conservatives are essentially the centre party of Canada now. They've taken what the Liberals used to be. And now is the time to come back to the center of what Canada is known to be, balance. We used to have a balanced immigration policy, balanced taxation policy, balanced business environment, balanced environment for your income, your workers, your low income to high income workers. A balanced country. Balance has been lost. We need to restore common sense and balance. I hope you got the point there, but that's what I think about these potential tax cuts. They're very good, very needed, and they're very needed for the layman in Canada to the big business that wants to invest in Canada. Everyone can benefit from it, not just a small group of few people. Everyone will benefit from it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and remember to subscribe and like this content and share it with your friends and families. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.